So, in this episode, let's continue to talk about Taoism. When it comes to the history of Taoism, Zhuangzi is considered as the student of Laozi. But some scholars say Zhuangzi brought Taoism to a new level. More interestingly, many people say that Zhuangzi was a combination of Confucius and Laozi. Well, Confucius encouraged people to change the world, such as 学而不厌, 诲人不倦, never stop learning, never stop teaching. Laozi advocated 无为而治. It means do something by doing nothing, just following the nature. Clearly, Zhuangzi took the middle path, 天人合一, being part of the nature. Do you know Zhuangzi is known for using the animal behavior to explain his thoughts? The butterfly dream, 庄周梦蝶, is for sure the most famous animal story by Zhuangzi, where he tried to navigate through the multiple layers of life. But do you also know Zhuangzi's favorite animal was actually the fish? Studies showed that Zhuangzi talked about fishes over 30 times in his works. Among them, these 3 fish stories will blow your mind. So let's get started. Tell me what you see on this slide. Are you seeing anything rather than the mountains? Yes, a giant fish. Zhuangzi said, in the Northern Ocean, there is a fish called Kun. It's so big that I don't know how many thousands of miles his body stretches. Kun turns into a bird called Peng. Peng is so big that I don't know how many thousands of miles his wings stretch. This is the first line of a short essay by Zhuangzi called Xiao Yao You, or A Happy Excursion, as the modern scholar Lin Yutang translated it. It's just a writing of 800 or so words, but it's one of the most read pieces among Chinese philosophers. Then Zhuangzi went on saying, for a bird as large and strong as Peng, it still relies on the wind to fly. Once the wind is gone, it falls from the sky. Through the giant fish Kun, Zhuangzi was telling people that there was no infinite power. Size is not the key. The less you rely on the external resources, the stronger you become. Story number 2. Zhuangzi had a close friend called Huizi. One day, the two of them were strolling on a bridge over the river. Zhuangzi said, look at the fishes. They are swimming around with ease and calm. That is the joy of the fish. Well, you are not a fish. How do you know the joy of a fish? Huizi replied. Then Zhuangzi said, you are not me. How do you know that I don't know the joy of a fish? Then Huizi responded, I'm not you, so I can't tell. I just follow the fact that you are not a fish, so you don't know the joy of a fish. That is all. In this story, Zhuangzi was telling people that while we envy what others own in their lives, we might have forgotten what we have got. Your joy comes from your own life because that is the only thing that fits you. Number 3, when it comes to describing the relationships between people, there are two Chinese phrases that stand out. One is called 相濡以沫. It says how the family members, especially a couple, help each other in hard times. The other one is called 相忘于江湖. It says that in peaceful times, even the knights with the swords, they would forget each other because they have no trouble that calls for help from others. These two phrases come from Zhuangzi. One day, he saw two fishes struggling in a dry creek. They tried to stay alive by spitting their saliva to each other's gills. It was an touching scene. But Zhuangzi didn't come up to appreciate it first. Instead, he was thinking that a great society is where people can live without asking for help. Only living in a bad society that makes people help each other all the time. Zhuangzi was trying to remind the authorities of the nation they should realize that a couple that helps each other is actually worse than the knights that forget each other. So, these fish stories tell us knowing yourself, especially your weakness, knowing others, especially their joy, and finally, knowing the world. Then your life journey will be a happy excursion. Thank you.